At this point, I think it's no surprise that I'll just be talking about a bunch of weird, random shit. One thing is, if people don't respect you or, I don't know, if they just don't really, I don't know what else I could say besides respect, um, they won't believe anything you say. I think that all they hear is wah, 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 wah. They don't even hear your words. They cut it off. They can't even it's weird. They just can't even understand what you're saying or something. It's weird, man. Especially when you know that there's other people who could say the exact same thing as you and get a completely different response. It's just like, oh my God. Oh, that's annoying as fuck. But the other thing is I started watching this show last night and then I just finished it and it is so fucking disturbing. I couldn't believe it. I mean, sometimes I wouldn't even finish, but it was a true story and I had to see what happened. I had to see, what the crime. I mean, I could have just Googled it, I guess. But the thing is, it is a new mini series or something on Netflix, and it's called The Serpent. Just prepare yourself if you're gonna watch it, because it's fucked up. And you know what really, really disturbs me is, like Hostel wasn't just a movie. That was a full-on disclosure. Hostel 1, 2, and 3. Full-on disclosure. And that's what I feel like with this movie too. Even though it's true and stuff, there's still there's still this disclosure that is happening of like the evilness that's out there and the oh my gosh. I swear I can say that word. Bureaucracy. I've said it before. I don't know. But these, like we've all gone around thinking that we're safe and we're taken care of, and if we're law-abiding citizens, and everything will be fine, right? It's just not even true at all. And, there's just been so much bullshit. So much with the legal and judicial systems. They definitely have not been there, on our side. They're definitely on the side of the criminal. They have been, I mean, we're changing things now and shit's being exposed, but man, I've talked about it before. Back when I got a Euro pass or Euro rail pass thing, those train passes, they were super popular back in the 70s and early 80s, probably even beyond that. But man, you see these movies, it is like people out traveling. That's like a hunting ground for some people, It's easy to disappear. And people, travel with money and, whatever they need. I mean, I guess some people travel with jewelry and stuff, because they're going to go out and do stuff. But, these people are just victims to crimes. They are, and they just go undetected because of all of the bureaucracy and the bullshit to try and just from country to country, and I saw that thing about that years ago. Another fucking disturbing show. It was a documentary, and I swear I've talked about it before. What was that called? A Letter for Zach or something like that. Maybe that was what it was called, A Letter for Zach. But it's more bullshit with the bureaucracy, and the people who are committing crimes use it to their advantage. Like, I don't know. If their brain just works totally different, or if they totally look into like how to get away with shit, it's weird. Because I just don't think about it, stuff like that. I don't think like, oh, can I get away with this here and that there and blah, 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 you know? It's weird. It's so creepy to think that, they walk amongst us. They're, they can be your neighbor. And you have no idea that they just, like in this case, even this guy's mom, I think it was, she even said, he just watches people so he can see how to act and pretends to be normal, but he's not normal at all. He could give a shit about people. And, it's creepy that there is people like that just, just don't care at all. And especially when you're traveling, you're just so much like, you're so vulnerable, especially when you go to places that are other languages. If you don't know the language, you don't know the customs, you don't know, and then somebody comes up to you and they're all friendly and they'll help you out. Be aware, be wary of those people. Be wary of people who want to help you too much, because something's up. But in this one, he could just get close to all sorts of travelers, and he's always going to help somebody. And he's like the worst fucking nightmare that you'd ever run into. And he's not the only one. And he had people working with him, and the woman, man, she was just blowing my mind the whole fucking time, because it is like, okay, does she not know what he's doing? Does she not care what he's doing? Is she just pretend like it's not happening? Is she this stupid, or is she in denial? Like, how, if somebody I was with was murdering, I would probably tell on him. Honestly, I'd probably just go to the police and tell on him. I think it's weird how you just would keep going with this person. It's so weird. I don't know, that whole story is so weird, and it's so weird that it was such a long time ago and it's just now coming out about this. I've never heard of it. And this guy was a bad serial killer. I think he's supposed to be the worst one in Asia, and he was horrible. Oh my God. You'd think that we would hear something about him, especially, people traveling and stuff should know how much at risk they are, that there's predators that prey on them. And, I was going to be one of those backpacking people. I had my thing. I had my little pass and went. The person I was traveling with just was, couldn't handle it. So we didn't make it far. But, just it's creepy when you think about that stuff, how close you can be to crossing paths with somebody who's just wicked. They're out there all the time. When I was growing up, everywhere I lived, there was a serial killer. It's weird. But it definitely is, it is by your destiny, I say. I say it's by destiny, and it is, has to do with soul contracts and stuff. So, I don't know. It's creepy. Just to know that there's such evil people, and that there's so much loopholes that people can get away with so much crime. And, man, people are just so, codependent to evil or something. I don't know. But you know, the last husband I had, he was just, he just wasn't very bright, and total alcoholic. And when we traveled, which I don't think he really, well, he had gone and traveled a little with his grandparents in a motorhome when he was little, but he hadn't really traveled, I don't think, at all. So when we went, I went to Mexico with him and New Orleans with him. I don't think I went anywhere else, but both places, he's just willing to just, in Mexico, the bartender, because we were, I swear I talked about this before. We were staying at a all inclusive place, and then we go down. He was alcoholic, so we a lot at the bar, and so the bartender that he kept having all the time, he wanted him to go into the city with him and hang out and go do stuff, you know. Oh yeah, I'll take you and I'll introduce you to some people and stuff like that. And he was like, yeah, let's go. I'm like, are you fucking crazy? You know that's what people do. So they get you down there and then you get taken, rolled, kidnapped, murdered, whatever, by the people. I mean, it's a setup. Then they get paid. I was like, fuck no, I'm not going. You don't fucking go do that. And you're in another country. Jesus Christ. Go fucking watch The Hostel. And then when we went to New Orleans, and I know I've talked about this one too. Oh my God, this guy was such a goddamn ditz. Of course, he's drunk off his ass. And we're walking from the French Quarter over to, what was that place we were staying? It was like the Garden Center or something. So it was quite a walk. And I love walking. And especially out there, I like the weather. And, well, I mean, it can be humid. But I grew up in a humid place, so. But the music and the smells and, I don't know. Except for there's a lot of pee in the streets. So that smells not so great. But the smells of all the food and stuff is good. So anyways, so we had a big walk to go back. And he was, oh my God, he was so drunk. He was so obnoxious. Oh my God, he was letting everyone know, I swear to God, for blocks how drunk he was. And then we started walking down this part, and it was a pretty dark street, and it seemed a lot more like it was just a bunch of houses, and it was quite a ways to walk. And I started, and this was the middle of the night, and I started hearing these birds, and they were like, cuckoo, cuckoo, and then you'd hear this one down further, cuckoo, cuckoo, and then you hear, you know, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is not birds. These people are fucking communicating. And they're saying, hey, you got a live one coming, dude. And so I started trying to tell him, you know, you need to shut up. You are got to shut the fuck up. And oh my God, he just wouldn't, and just kept going and being obnoxious. I don't even know. I may have just started walking ahead of him or something. Who knows? But anyways, we got home safely. But, you know, it's people like that. You know, a lot of these people on this movie thing, that were all traveling across Europe back in the late 70s that were getting murdered, that they were, you know, a lot of them were hippies and just out for experience. And, you know, a lot of them would go over there to try the different drugs and stuff. So a lot of them were making bad choices, going with strangers and getting themselves fucking murdered. And but that's how I felt like with him. Like, that stuff still goes on, you know, just because it was going on then, and that particular guy's in prison, thank God. You'd watch all I won't give any disclosure. So, but you have to watch the whole movie to get the whole thing. You have to go through the whole thing, or just skip to the end and you can see the updates at the end of the thing, because it tells you about everybody in the movie, what happened in their real life. But, that stuff is still going on, especially, with the trafficking and the harvesting and stuff. People just don't know how unsafe they are out there. And we have not had protections. We do not have a judicial system that is there for us. It's there for protection of the wealthy and the elite, or, the controllers. It's definitely not there for us. It's just another way to control us and take from us. But, there's, it is very dangerous to go and travel by yourself and stuff. You can't just go into it and just be like, there was one girl and she was traveling alone and she really wanted to go just to have a good time. She had left California. She had a horrible time, I guess, in her past. I don't know what all her story was. She had, was having a really hard time. So she decided she wanted to go live in a monastery and be a nun. And so she left to go over to Thailand. I think a lot of these crimes were, they were all over in there. India, Pakistan, Bangkok, Thailand. And these people would just travel around on these different passports that they would steal from these people. This guy was like, if he would have put his knowledge to good, he could have really done some good things probably, but he put all of his knowledge to just promote himself to, get more money or whatever it was he was looking for. I don't even know. It seemed like he just wanted to kill people. Like he just didn't like people. Like they disgusted him. And then it was like any excuse. Yeah, I'll kill him. But when she went over there, and she wanted to have this, one last night of fun before she went and locked her whole life away and turned herself over to God or whatever. And, she was just being a little too wild, I guess, because she got with the wrong people. And her life never went any further. There's a lot of people. And I feel like if people want to travel, they need to be a lot more cautious. I mean, it's going to be coming up soon that it'll be safe again, but I don't know how soon. Fuck. Man, I swear to God, I'm the only one who can see positive. I see positive. I see everything turning around. I see the pendulum swinging back. And when it does, it's going to be so much different. But man, seems like there's just so many people who just see the end of the world. We're just, we're here to suffer, and we're all going to just suffer. And the suffering's not going to end anytime soon. So many people. Oh my gosh. So many people. That's what they believe in. I don't. So, I don't know. Like I said way in the beginning, this content can be taken by whoever the audience is. I could end up just being that crazy old lady with the brain injury that lived in the woods. I see things different. And I see things making a big turn, and I see everything getting better. And people traveling, and people opening their homes, and people just, getting a lot more safe, but they're being, maybe it'll be like some kind of travel groups, but I think that there's going to be such a shift when whatever is going to happen shifts. It's going to be so profound. It's going to affect people. Like if people are shitty people right now, and they and when the shift occurs, and they have to look at themselves in the mirror. You know, some of them won't even be able to survive seeing their own selves because they don't see themselves the way they need to see themselves. They need to see themselves truly for who they are. And they're about to. And these people who think like it's okay to hurt other people because they come up with excuses and stuff, it's not right. You know, that just to me seems like the most simplest of God's laws as a human being, as any energetic creature with a consciousness. You know, I mean, they all have consciousness. But, you know, like a lion killing a deer, whatever those different things are that are over there that look like deers, whatever they're called. You know, that is not against God's law. That's a natural instinct. But the people who are killing, I don't know, I guess some of them could say they have a natural instinct because they're antisocial psychopaths. So their natural instinct is to just not care and murder. But I don't know. Where I come from, there's a God's law. And you know it inside yourself. You don't need to have anybody tell you, thou shalt not kill. You know, if somebody was in here trying to kill me, I'll fight to the death. You know, if I die, then I die. I'll fight. But I'm not gonna, you know, just go out and randomly look for someone to murder. And these people who do that, and then plus, I just keep thinking about how much crime has gone up since the beginning of 2020. And some of that, like, I can't even stand to see them. Before, there was so many videos that were going around on Twitter, and I'm sure that there probably still is, the same with TikTok. But man, people committing crimes, right? I saw videotapes of people being shot, of people being attacked, and stabbings, all sorts of shit. I mean, there's stuff going on, and there is no excuse. I don't care if you think like, oh, you know, I don't know. I don't understand it. I guess, you know, in their minds, there's an excuse. Oh, well, if shit's going down, then I can loot. If shit's going down, I can be as rotten as I want. Well, that's what the purge, I guess. You know, it was also meant to teach. So, you know, they wanted a bunch of people who have the purge mentality. So when they triggered the purge, they just go out and kill all of us, especially the ones who weren't willing to go out and kill other people for sport. And it's weird because you would think most human beings would have, you know, this natural instinct to care for each other, to protect one another. But this, you know, like the cabal or the controllers or whatever you want to call them, has made it such a, with their indoctrination, to cut people off from themselves, from their own morality, from their own humility, their own, I mean, they're also cut off, and they're so, I don't know, they're all just boxed in their own little weird cells that they've created. I don't know. I feel like I'm just really in a dark place today. I am. I feel like I definitely am. That movie really disturbed me, just to think of like, man, because also right before that happened, I had this model agency in Texas say they wanted to meet with me, and I had an appointment, and I didn't go to the appointment. I took off and I went to England, and you know, for a long time I thought, oh my gosh, did I make a mistake? Should I have gone and done that? And back then, you know, models were the thing. They were like on everything. They called them supermodels or something like that. Like it was a big thing. They were on the covers of all the magazines. Now they put movie stars on the cover of magazines. Back then it was these certain models. And, you know, they all, I think that when they got started, they went to, like some left from Dallas, went to New York, and then they all ended up over in France and stuff. But the thing is that from the stuff I've learned, especially through 2020, now learning about what was going on with those girls, man, they just, there was so many places that were just set up to siphon girls for trafficking. And, you know, so a lot of girls who have gone to try and make it as models ended up just being, I don't know, concubine for the elite. I don't know, some probably ended up being food. Some ended up being handlers. Some ended up being, what is that called when you bait? A lot of them bait. But I don't know, it's just weird because of the things like, you know, the Euro passing and being like, ah, oh, man, I'm gonna go. But then you start seeing like, oh my gosh, there's such a dark side to some of this stuff. And some of the times when things don't work the way you think, you just got to realize like, maybe this is happening to protect me from something that's really dark out there. And I just need to go with the flow. I say it all the time, go with the flow. Don't fight against the current. If you fight against the current, you're going against your own path. Going with the flow, you're going where you're supposed to go. That doesn't mean that it's not going to ever have problems. It doesn't mean that it's not going to lead you to fucking death or murder. But when things go wrong and you feel like, oh my gosh, what? You know, it should have went that way. That's what I wanted. I should have done this and that. But then you see, like, it just reminds me so much of this house I wanted so bad. I probably talked about this before too, because when we first moved to Spokane, houses were like $12,000, $20,000 was an expensive house, and now they're expensive, but they were super cheap. It was just beginning to boom, and so all the houses were sold before you even got to them. They were all being bought by investors, and it was just like one after another. You go there and because you couldn't go see the house unless you went and drove by it. That's the only way a realtor would set you up. Then when you went and you said, okay, I want to see it. Oh, it's already sold. I was like, what the fuck? I just got the list. Well, you know, those investors, they don't have to go see it. They just buy it offline, you know. They just buy it. And so all the houses were being bought by them. And so we were going and looking at them over and over and over all day long. And there was one, it was so cool. It had this coolest door. It was just a really cool house. And I wanted it so bad. I was so frustrated. I was so fed up. And I didn't get it. And it was like, I think it was one of the last houses we looked at. And I was just like so upset. And then years later, then I found out about this right across from the house that I had wanted so bad, this Chimo guy with his crimes. I don't know. I think he'd done some stuff to the girls in the neighborhood or something. And I had 4 daughters. So see, that's what I mean is that sometimes you think like things need to be a certain way, but you don't know what's really there to protect you. And, you know, there's so many people who want to force something to be, you know, well, you know, I want this. This has got to be. And they'll do everything they can to force it. And then, you know, well, you know, it won't even always go the way even if you're trying to force it. But anyways, you just got to go with the flow because you just can't see like the thing that is the flow with the energy. And, you know, you got to trust your own guide, your own, you know, is like they have their hands on the control of the avatar. And when they are like trying to protect you or whatever, they can see things you can't see. So, I've known so many people. I've done it myself, where something didn't go the way you think, and it's just so devastating. Like, oh my God, it's the end of the world. Didn't go the way I wanted. And I just think, there's a lot of things that just we gotta let go of so much more control. I'm so weirded out by how much I wanted to go on those Euro trips. It just seemed like that was the Euro pass things. That just seemed like, just the thing to do back then. And then, all those people just being murdered all the time. And in hostel, that was hostel. People are going and staying at the hostels. They're out to get you wherever. I'm sure you go to rich ones. You've got somebody down there, some fucking fancy hotel that's got a way to give it those people. I don't know. I'm just going to keep on trying to stay positive and think of the good things that we're headed for, and not get stuck on, that we're going to be stuck in this horrible, negative world with just so much evil all around us for much longer. I really feel like it's got to change. I feel like something's about to give right now. I feel like if it's not by the end of this week, which would be tomorrow, or next week, I'll just be so surprised. It's just like every time I, like go on my phone and to Google something and the news comes up, all the stuff I see, or if I go on YouTube, all the headlines I'm seeing, and it just seems like there's a lot of stuff coming out. And, once this stuff starts coming out, then who's in control, because it can't come out as long as the controllers are controlling, because they have done everything they can to repress information from us so that we don't get to know. And just that movie coming out, like all these years later, it happened in the 70s, and they're reporting about it, doing this movie now. I don't know. I just think it's weird timing on all of it. So, okay. I was just big old downer again today. So, sorry about that. I don't mean to be a downer. It is just, I don't know, in the air. So, have a great day. And I'll try and be in a better mood next time. Talk to you later. Bye.